fourth grade parents. I'm Mrs. Fenton and I'm your child's fourth grade homeroom teacher as well as their math and science teacher. And since you can't be in here this year, I thought I'd kind of give you a tour of the classroom and show you what they see every morning when they walk in. So when you drop your kid off at Carline, they come into our classroom and they see this projected. They're able to see the schedule for the day. They'll have some morning work to do. Maybe it's to finish up homework from the night before. Maybe it's a coloring activity, something that Mr. Martin might give us for language arts or social studies, or a math and science activity. They'll do their morning work while we wait for the rest of the class to join us, and then we will start the day with our morning offering prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. After that, we hop right into math and science. As you can see, we have all of their desks spaced out as far as we can, as close to 6 feet apart as possible. On this sideboard over here, this is our assignment board. So right there we have it all taped off for your students. Every teacher that's going to assign homework can put their assignment in there, and your students can take out their planner and copy their assignments down for each day in their planner. This year, fourth grade is a big year. We're trying to increase independence, and so we're trying to teach them how to write a planner and how to use that to know how to stay on top of assignments. So at the end of dismissal, they are reminded every day to bring that planner home, and you as parents can check that and check to make sure that they have their work done as well. Then if we move back here, every morning their backpacks, they either stay at their desk with them or they hang their backpacks up on the back hooks right there. You can see under their chairs, that's where we're using to keep their towels or yoga mats for mask breaks. And then this year, since there's no sharing supplies, each of your students has a nice little pouch on the back of their chair where they're able to keep supplies. And so there is our classroom. For science this year, I'm really excited for what our fourth graders get to learn. You may have seen that we've kind of already gotten into our science curriculum, and last week they brought home, hopefully you saw their cool little robot finger that we made in class. And so that is kind of something I like to use to get them excited about science this year, get their hands busy. And that's part of our Unit 1, which is Structures, Functions, and Information Processing. So we just kind of finished up that muscular part of that unit in the human body today with the Magic School Bus video. And tomorrow we'll get started kind of on that next chunk in this unit and kind of look at different animals and how animals function and process things. We'll get to look at our senses and all of that. And then we'll jump into learning about energy, have a unit on energy, a unit on waves and communication, and then we'll wrap up the year with a unit on processes that shape the earth. And so all of those are aligned with the Arkansas state standards for fourth grade science. In terms of homework for science, there really won't be much. Most will be completed in class. Our goal is really to have the students learn, but also just develop a joy of learning in science and be excited about science. And so most of that will be done. If there is a science assignment, it will just most of the time be something that we started in class and maybe didn't get to finish, so they may need to take that home and finish, something like that. But most of their science grade will come from in-class work and in-class assessments. At some point in the year, we may have a project, and I'll make sure to communicate that with you, especially if it's kind of a long term. We do have a Google Classroom for science. Your students have all been added and on our Google Classroom. If you log into that, you'll see that there are assignments posted with due dates, but if your student is here for in-class instruction, you don't need to worry about those due dates for science. That's for my virtual students. However, if one of your students is absent, homesick or whatever, and they want to log on and see what they missed in science that day, if they log on to our Google Classroom, we have everything organized by date. And I'll show you what our Google Classroom looks like in a little bit. For math this year, we are using the same Pearson curriculum that they used in third grade. However, Pearson changed the name of their website, so it's now called Savas Realize, if you see it look different. And so all of your students were given one of these Envision Mathematics workbooks for grade 4. And curriculum-wise, we'll just continue to build on their understanding of place value and our 4 basic mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and start applying that to multi-digit numbers and working through that, and eventually applying those operations to fractions and developing that understanding as well. And so a lot of the instruction on new material I give myself in class. They have their math spiral notebooks with their graph paper on it where they take their notes. And this year we're really practicing the heading in their math notes, how to take good notes. A lot of it is them copying it down and being able to have notes that they can look back on and use to help them on their homework and their in-class quick checks. So you may be wondering, what is that like? So in math, they could have anywhere from 1 to 4 math assignments a week, depending on what we get through in class. And so their homework is called Practice Buddies, and that's all listed in our Google Classroom, and I'm gonna walk you through all of that after this. And so if you log on to our Math Google Classroom from home, they can see in that Practice Buddy column all of their practice buddies, and that is their homework. And what they're supposed to do is show their work for each practice buddy in their math spiral. So we're practicing taking math assessments on the computer, but using that pen to paper to really show our work, so we're not making simple mistakes on the computer. And so with that, they'll have their notes in class. If you open their notebook, then they should draw a line and it should say Practice Buddy, and that's where they're gonna show all their work for their math homework. Then the next day they come in, when we start class, after they've had a practice buddy assigned, we'll start class with questions. So they can come in and ask questions on anything and I will go over all of it. And then after they're done asking questions on their homework, we'll do the graded quick check. So the practice buddies are not for a grade. The practice buddies are meant for them to practice what was new material in class here. And then when they come back after they've seen it once in class with me, then they've had a chance to practice on their practice buddy, and then they come back and then we assess on the quick check. So their quick check is always just 5 questions long, and it's very similar to ones we've seen before. And they can use the work that they've shown on their homework, they can use their notes, they can use anything math in their possession to answer their quick check. So it really is trying to assess what they know at that point in time with the resources that we've given them. So you can really help your student in math when you see them doing their practice buddy, encouraging them to show their work in their notebook and encouraging them to look back at the notes we took in class. That's a skill that's kind of new to them. And as we're trying to increase their independence and prepare them to be successful at our junior high math courses here at St. Vincent, those study skills are going to be really important for them. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to log into our Google Classrooms from home. Let's say you don't have a school-issued Chromebook and you're trying to get your student logged in to do their math homework. So first of all, your students are not going to go directly to the Pearson website, which is Savas Realize. We're not doing that this year. From now on, just for some consistency, everything's going to go through our Google Classroom. So the way you can get there from home is you can open any internet browser, Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, whatever's on your computer, and whatever search engine you use, you can type into your search engine Google Classroom. And if you search Google Classroom, it should pop up right at the top. And so if you click that, it's going to take you to a Google sign-in. Now, because I already have some Gmail accounts, this is what mine looks like. If you have Gmail accounts on your computer, this is what it'll look like. If not, it will just prompt you right to this sign-in. So if this is what you have, you're gonna say use another account, and this is where you'll do your sign-in. Now, your students sign in, they should know it, but it's gonna be their first and last name all together. And then what's important from home that they don't have to do at school is this tag at the end. They need to put in at students.svdpschool.net when signing in from home. So they'll need to type that in and then they'll hit next. and they should know their password as well. So once you type in your password, you hit next. All right. And then once it loads, this is what your 4th grade Google Classroom should look like. They have their science, their math, their social studies, and their language arts. And so whatever you need to go to for 4th grade, you can access that through here. In order to know what to do for Mr. Martin's 4th grade language arts and social studies, you can find his video that's been posted and he can explain you. For ours, if you click science, this is what pops up. I have a little note here, but you're gonna wanna go to classwork. And when you go to classwork, this is where we have everything listed by date. Everything by date. And so if your student is not a virtual student this year, is a student that's in class, the due dates really don't matter unless it's in their planner or on RenWeb, but really it won't. They'll be doing this in class. And so you can see what we did by date. So if your child was ever homesick, they can go to that date and see exactly what we did in class that day. And I will always upload any documents, or if there's a link, that link or video will be there as well for them. And it's organized by our units. Then if you go back over here, you can switch to one of their other classes. And this is what our math classroom looks like. So this stream really isn't important when you log on, but the classwork page is. So when you go to classwork, this is where you'll see, this might be some notes or things that I've passed out in class. I'll post them here and it'll normally be posted by date. And then up here is where you can see their quick checks and their practice buddies. Now in their math Google Classroom, these due dates matter because our math curriculum is all online. So if they're at home and they have to do practice buddy 1-2, they'll click on it right here and click on it here, and this will take them to that Pearson website. It's all linked through Google this year. So as soon as they click there, they'll get that green screen. Okay, and so then they'll get here and the assigned work will be listed. If they've completed it, it'll say completed. You can also kind of see a list of their assignments if you hit that back arrow. But to complete it, they'll click on it. And this one's done, so it won't do that. But normally it'll be a start button, and then they will have their questions. And so again, when they read the question, if there's any work that they need to do, they should be writing that in their math journal. And that's how our Google Classroom works. So the students' math grades are determined by their grade in what we call assisted and unassisted categories. So assisted assignments are your quick checks, are things that they can use assistance on, they can use their notes. So that constitutes 40% of their grade. And that's what we've kind of started doing in class, are those quick checks. And there are only 5 problems, so we really want to encourage them to use their notes on that. And then the unassisted would be your tests and quizzes. And so every unit will make sure to have at least 1 quiz for progress monitoring, and then also our end of unit test. And that will constitute 60% of their math grade. For science, their science grade will be determined also based off of a 40% of their grade will be assisted. So that will be anything in class with their notes or with my instruction, kind of in class work will all fall under assisted for the most part. And unassisted is going to be 60% of their grade, and so that will come at end of unit tests or exams, and we will spend, or projects, and that will come, we'll have lots of time for that, to prepare for that. And so that might be a time also where they have a homework assignment, might be a review assignment with some science vocabulary and that. And so those larger assessments will be in the unassisted category of 60%. I hope that answered some of your questions about 4th grade math and science this year and how you can access everything through our Google Classroom. I wish I could meet you in person, but I will say I absolutely love having all of your students in class, and I think it's going to be a great year. And I look forward to hopefully one day meeting you, and feel free to email me anytime with any questions that you have.